Well, good morning. It's Monday, the 12th of August, 2019. It's been a couple weeks since I checked in. I think 2 weeks ago we were in Vermont, and I posted a video then. We finished up our 3-week road trip. We got home last Wednesday, and generally I was consistent with my training while we were away. My goal was to run 4 days a week, 20 miles a week, and I fell just short of that. I had 1 week where it was only 3 days of running, and if you add up all the mileage and divide it by the days that we were gone, it comes to 18.93 miles per week. The day we got home, I had run 4 miles in the morning, and I contemplated running 3.5 miles that evening just to get to the 20, but I didn't feel like it, so fell a little shy of the goal. But the important thing was that I consolidated the gains that I made with a couple of weeks of running that I'd done leading up to the trip. And because I was at least as consistent as I just told you about, I got home, and the day after I was able to go to Raven Rock and run 8 miles on those hills. I did a 10-miler yesterday, and I just finished up 4 miles this morning at Anderson Creek County Park. And so while I fell short of my stated goals, the important thing is that I was actually able to increase my fitness and resume training from home. Better off than I was 3.5, 4 weeks ago. So I'm really happy about that. Yesterday I went up to the American Tobacco Trail 10-mile run, and I averaged 10:18 as a pace. And what's remarkable about that for me is 6 weeks ago, it was a struggle for me to be able to run that pace for even a 2-mile run. And then this morning, yesterday was 10 miles. It's the longest run that I've had in over a year. I did a 16-miler middle of August of last year, and that was the last time I ran that kind of distance. But 10 miles yesterday, it was my longest run by 2 miles. I'd done an 8-miler before, a couple of 8-milers. But today should have been a day off. I should have woke up hobbling around, not feeling great. I came out here, and I ran 4 miles in 37 something, an average pace of 9:18. And so what should have been a recovery run, it turned into my fastest pace for any run that I've done in the last 8 weeks, which I'm really happy about. Which gets me to this point. I like to be able to assess my level of fitness using other metrics besides, what's the fastest I can run for a given period. I like to be able to compare levels of effort. And so what you ought to be able to see is that, as you compare, say, a run this week to a run 8 weeks ago, what you ought to be able to see is that you can cover the same distance now in less time with less effort. And one of the ways that you would gauge that would be, your average heart rate. So I'm just going to spitball some numbers here. So today's run, 37 minutes, 4 miles. 4 weeks ago, 4-mile run, 41 minutes. And let's just say that the heart rate from 4 weeks ago was 158, and today's was 155. So the heart rate's lower, the time's better. It wasn't a race, but you can tell without a doubt that the level of fitness has improved. This is my last week of being out of the classroom. This coming Friday will be an optional work day for teachers, which means that if you take the day off Friday, you're going to use personal time to do that. I'm going to be in the class. I'm going to be at school. And so starting Friday, I've got to be able to integrate running with the demands of returning back to school. The time demand of that is actually the easy piece. What's a little bit more difficult is I'm a pacer. I wore my step counter at school all last year, and on an average day, that's 10,000 steps on those hard tile floors. Kids will sap the emotional energy out of you, and at the end of the day, I just didn't feel like doing anything. So I've got to be able to overcome that if I'm going to be consistent with my training. One of my strategies for doing that is bring my running clothes to school at the end of the day, change before I get in the car, and I'm planning on 3 days running before I go home. So I think 2 days out of the week, I'll drive over here to Anderson Creek County Park. It's only 15 minutes from school. Being able to get out in the woods, that should be beneficial for me emotionally, mentally, all the lees you can think of. And I'm thinking one day out of the week, I'll drive down to Fort Bragg for a track workout. Bubblegum tracks are hard to come by in this neck of the woods. Some of the schools have asphalt tracks. If I'm going to run on asphalt, I'm just going to stick with the roads and spare myself the drive. But Fort Bragg has a couple of bubblegum tracks, and it's worth the drive for me to go down there. And I enjoy speed work on tracks. That's a little bit different from a lot of middle-aged guys, but I enjoy being on the track with a stopwatch. It takes me back to college and high school. So that's today's check-in. I'll say this. Through yesterday, for the last 4 weeks, I've averaged 20.0 miles per week, which I am thrilled with. My goal for the next 4 weeks is to bump that up to an average of 30 miles a week. And then we'll see how much more mileage I want to get in the course of a week. But it's been a couple of weeks. I wanted to check in a little bit long today, but a lot of things to get caught up on.